Yeah, yeah. And it's going diggy down. Is it alright? Is it okay? We do this thing Friday and we do it every day. Hey, but when we can, we still stand on our own. Make sure that originality is shown. Blown out of proportion, real with caution, but everything is gonna be alright. So, yo, chill. Everything is gonna be okay, and we're gonna do this show like this way. So it's the Daily Go Get 'Em show, y'all. Tonight on this Flashback Friday. Thank God it's Friday. We are talking about does the color matter? Does the color really matter? Oh man. Now you know color is a big issue. But culture is also a big issue. Now when we say colors, are we talking about colors or are we talking about culture? And that's when it comes to people. But when it comes to other things that don't have anything to do with people, do we concern ourselves with the way or the color that something is? Like, you know, can we tie in somebody's favorite color or attachment to a color to something like being OCD? OCD? So, you know, when somebody's favorite color is this, that, or the third, they may insist on almost anything that they touch or deal with or work with being that color. For example, the late great Prince, you know how much he liked purple. But did everything that he deal with have to be purple? I don't think so. But there may be other people out there that you know, or maybe it's you yourself, that has to have something be the same, be the right color. So we're going to talk about how important color is to us tonight, and it's going to be right. Speaking of right, Robin Ming here to do a thing, something like a queen for a king, and my brother from another mother, Norris. So sit back, relax, and chill, do your thing. Will you be here till the end? I believe so. Yo, you more than a friend. And Emily Dunlap is in the house. Bow, she about to turn it out. All right, so let's get it popping, y'all. Urban Therapy with Sun 752 with this your daily, the daily go get 'em show. We do this every day, every single day, every day. Every day it rains, every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. We break it down, baby. Every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains and the DG will do the same. I'm your host, Sun 752, aka Omar with the. And if you can't say Omar with the, well then you just say Omar with the R. This is the daily go get a business show, and I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should, all up in this area, all up in this piece, all up in this place. We. So tonight we're talking about does the color matter? Does the color matter? You know, in terms of racism, you know, because we're not going to be able to have a show about color and not really get into racism and discrimination and socio-political things that involve those things. But when it comes to racism, what do y'all think? Do you think that racism dealing with white supremacy is more about color or culture? Is it more about color or culture? Do white people who claim not to like black people, do they dislike them because they are not the same hue, the same color, the same shade as them? Or do they dislike black people because of the culture? Or is there something else? I mean, what could it be besides culture? You know what I'm saying? But what do you think? Because I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who really don't have a grasp on what racism is all about, who probably believe that it's about color. They think it's about color. Like white people don't like black people because black people are black. Well, they're not really black, but they're brown. But white people aren't really white. They're well, some of them are kind of white. I see some pale, but they're not, for the most part, they're not really white. They're sort of like pinkish or a really, really light beige. Some of them. So, but because black and white is a socio-political construct, do you think that white people dislike black people? The white people who dislike black people, the white people who distrust black people, the white people who have resentment towards, or an affinity towards discrimination against black people, do you think that they do it on the basis of the actual skin color, or does it have more to do with our culture, the way that we are raised, the way that we act, the things that we do, our career choices, the way that we socialize with one another? What would you say? What would you say when we ask, does the color matter? We're not going to be able to have this conversation without dealing with white supremacy and racism. But if we don't really understand what white supremacy is about, we really don't understand what racism about, then we're going to make a whole lot of mistakes as far as how we deal with it, or possibly even eliminate it in some circles. I don't think that there will ever be a world that we will see that does not have racism in it, mainly because it has a lot to do with power. And, relinquishing power, giving up power is not something that most people would want to do, even for the good of humanity. I mean, and in a way, I understand that. I don't like being a victim of it, but I get it. If I was on the other side, I would probably be like, now, hold on now. Oh, no. Yeah. Now, I didn't practice racism, but I understand that there's some issues of fairness going on here, and I want to make sure that everybody gets their fair shake. But we're gonna have to start it from here. I'll be goddamn if I'm going all the way back. That's the way. That's the mentality. I understand the mentality. I don't agree with the mentality, but I definitely get it. Right and wrong it can be very subjective, and most times they are very subjective. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, kicking it off. But then we're going to talk about color as it pertains to black people, and colorism within our own community. Like, we're all supposed to be black, but we still have the whole light skin versus dark skin, brown skin, caramel, mixed and all of that kind of shit. Is it more of a color thing, or is it more of a culture thing? A culture thing within a culture, or should I say maybe a counterculture within a culture that may not be looked at as a counterculture? So we're going to get into all of that. Stacey White, what's going on, ma? It's good to see me, you. Thanks for coming by. And T. Carrie Wright, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going right directly in your sight. So we're going to get it popping, y'all. I need y'all to hit that like button. I need y'all to hit the like button. I need y'all to share the show. I need you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. This is the Daily Go Getimism Show. I'm your host, Sun752, and we are talking about, does the color matter? Does the color matter? Yes. So if y'all would like to call into the show, because I hope you will, the number to call is area code 319-527-6199. That's a number to call. I said a 319-527-6199. Yes. Call us at a 319-527-6199. Yeah, get on the line. I said a 319-527-6199. Yeah, get your shine, baby, on. 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 Get your shine, baby. 319-527-6199, baby. This is the Daily Go Get It Business Show, so let's get it popping. I see that we have a caller on the line, caller with the last number is 4600. I'm going to pick you up in just a few seconds. Give me a minute. I just want to check out these comments real quick, and then I got you. T. Carey Wright says, I believe that it's a culture-based bias. A culture-based bias. I'm going to have to throw the spectacles on because why you wear those glasses so I can see? And Robin Ming says that's exactly what it is, Taki. Okay. Well, okay. If it's a culture thing, well, how would that explain it in the black community? I mean, black on black. It's a lot of black on black. Light skin, high yellow, red bone, brown skin, caramel, dark skin, chocolate. And you know that there's been an internal war, a civil war within the black community going all the way back to slavery. And I don't know how far before then, because it kind of makes me wonder if it, I'm convinced or I'm satisfied that it came out of post-slavery. Well, slavery and then post-slavery. But we don't have enough information to know if maybe that may have had something to do with the reason that we became slaves in the first place. I'm not saying nothing. I'm asking something. I'm not saying nothing. I'm asking something. So let's get into it. All right. Okay. We have a call on the line. Caller with the last number is 4600. As promised, welcome to the Daily Go Get It Business. Thank you for holding. What's on your mind this evening?
Well, I'm confused. I wonder if you can help me out.
Okay. First, you have to tell me what you're confused about.
I'm confused the way you use the word racism. And you associate it with just whites. Or when blacks do the same thing, what is that called? People with non-white skin.
Well, racism is prejudice plus power. So black people don't have any power. So how can they be racist?
Shit. How much power do you need to be? A congressperson?
No.
Person of a multi-million-dollar business? Maybe. The mayor of a city?
Possibly.
Huh?
Well, in order for there to be true power, you have to have a power base. You can't just be one individual with some type of influence and claim to have power. If you talk about
power base,
wait a minute. You're talking about you asked about racism, right?
Yeah.
All right. So if we're going to talk about racism, this is what we have to talk about. Like I said, my definition of racism is prejudice plus power. Now, any individual can have power and any individual can have influence. But if one individual has power and influence and the rest of the people who are representative of him do not have that power or influence, then those people do not have power. So,
that's a good point. Why they vote for him?
Why they vote for who?
The one that has the power.
Well, last time I looked, when somebody gets voted in, they have a team. They have a team that they that helps them to get to get elected. It's not like they campaign by themselves, strategize by themselves, advertise by themselves, tour and book speaking engagements by themselves. Last time I looked, it doesn't work that way.
Well, let me give you an area because I can't talk about Colorado, San Francisco. I'm looking. Let me talk about the Ferguson. You know Ferguson that was in.
Well, hold on. Hold on. First of all, what we're going to do is we're going to stay on what the topic of the show is.
No, I
And
am.
all right. I just want to make sure.
Something about
Listen. I
Let me
just.
see what your topic
Whoa,
is.
whoa, wait a minute. Well, if we're going to talk about racism, we're going to talk about racism.
The color matter. Yeah, color does matter.
Okay, all right. So let's make sure we stick to that because we're not going to veer off into anything else. Because the show
you're
tonight.
Absolutely right. Color does matter.
All right.
I tell you how you know. Because in the South, especially down in the New Orleans area, 28% of free blacks had slaves, as reported, and most of them were mulattoes, light skinned. And people say, well, slaves made money, they bought their loved ones. Well, light skins don't buy no dark skins. Don't have nothing to do with you. Matter of fact, they have certain saying like don't drink coffee, come in out of the sun, check behind that baby ears, you know what they're gonna be when they get old enough. And guess what? It also exists amongst other groups like the Puerto Ricans. They say marrying white is fixing up the race. Don't marry anyone darker than you. Jungi's next gospel is the saying. So yes, colorism matters.
Mm-hmm. Well, interesting you brought up Puerto Ricans because you can bring up Puerto Ricans or any Hispanics, Latinos or whatever political label that they have been given these days, because they are supposedly non-white people. You know, of course, they are non-white people who have been systematically oppressed, but in their systematic oppression and in their enslavement that many of them have very little knowledge of as far as the psychological effects that followed it. Of course, they're going to have colorism within their community. So when I say black, I'm not restricting it to so-called African Americans or American blacks.
Is anybody that's not white, right?
Well, no, because white people are a color also. But as far as
well, then how do you tell? How do you tell?
How do I tell what?
Mark on the forehead.
How do I tell
what? Somebody's black.
How do I tell that somebody is black?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm blind. So I wouldn't really know. So I have to grab their wrist and see if I can feel it like Ray Charles used to do in the movie. That's how I know.
Well, Ray Charles was even discriminating. He was blind.
Well, he wasn't always blind.
You know, discrimination is not illegal, nor is racism as it is defined today. If you cross the line and violate somebody's civil rights, then it's illegal. But people can discriminate. They do all the time. They hire their daughters rather than hire the applicant on top. In cities, rather than having a depository for applicants, the head of an agency, whether it's the fire department or whether it's city works, they hire somebody over the phone. So I guess you can say that's discrimination. Same thing with racism. Unless you violate somebody's civil rights, racism is illegal. And the reason why is because the definition of racism has evolved in such a broad spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
It's the act.
Well,
what the act.
You said that racism isn't illegal, but racial discrimination. I'm sorry. You said that discrimination isn't illegal, but racial discrimination is illegal when it can be proven.
That's when you violate somebody's civil rights. Yes.
Well, but
racial discrimination, hiring. Well, that's illegal.
But you can't say that discrimination isn't illegal. It is.
Well, give me something else where you would discriminate.
Well, actually,
on a team and put somebody.
Actually, you would have to give me something. I'm telling you what it is.
All right, I'm gonna give you one. Mm-hmm. If you got two players, one black and one white, and you put the black player as shortstop and not the white, that ain't illegal to do.
Well,
even though you discriminate.
Well, first of all, that might not be discrimination if both of those, if both of the positions that you put the black one and the white ones were their natural positions. But if it can be proven that the shortstop keeps getting put out in the outfield, and there's a pattern of you playing all of the black players out of position, guess what's going to happen?
There's an area in St. Louis area called the Hill, Italian. They never put a for sale sign on the yard. In the yard, it's all done over the phone,
and that's fine, sir. See, my thing is whether it can be proven or not based on your preference of whoever you want to be in your community or in your at your job, workplace, or whatever. But you're sort of proving what I was saying. Or no, you're not proving, because I don't have anything to prove. I'm asking questions, but you're kind of confirming what the basis of this show was about. And I asked, does the color matter? And evidently, for some people, the color doesn't matter. But I also asked, does it matter more in terms of the color of a person or the culture of a person? Because as we know for sure that there are some darker skinned people who will have greater access if they are more favorable to or more non-threatening and more complimentary to what white people may want, such as black people who have certain influences, like athletes. Like white people may be stone cold racist, but they may like black people who know how to dunk a ball or throw a football or win championships, things like that. Things that work in their benefit. You understand what I mean?
That exists for black people. That exists for blacks too.
I'm sorry, what did you say? I missed that.
I say that exists with a black person also.
It does. And I asked that question. I don't know how long you've been listening, but what you're saying is what I'm saying. What you're asking about is
blacks will not hire a white person whose skin is white. Rather, they would put a black person in a position. That was brought out in a lawsuit at Harris Stowe State College in St. Louis, where a white woman was passed over for black women in a position. She won a $5 million plus lawsuit against that.
Did you agree with that?
Well, what? The lawsuit?
Did you agree with?
She was discriminated against.
I'm asking you, did you agree with it? Yes or no?
I said yes. She was discriminated against. Yes.
You didn't say yes. You said yes that she won you agreed that she won the lawsuit. I asked you, did you agree with it? Do you agree with it?
The reason why she won the lawsuit?
Do you support the decision of the courts?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's all I was asking.
Against.
All right. She was discriminated against. Okay. Well,
I had a white female employee, and my foreman came and said we need to let her go. And I brought her check out. And later on, she went to EEOC against my company.
Was that legit?
She was white, I was black.
Was that legit?
Well, they couldn't. I had a right to fire her. What I had hired her for, she was done, so I got rid of her. I could have put her on something else to do, but I didn't because the foreman didn't want her.
Okay. What was it legit? I'm asking you, was it legit? Why is it so hard for you to answer a question? Was it legit or not?
Yeah, what do you mean? We got rid of her because they didn't want to keep her.
Oh, but it was your business, right?
Yes.
All right. Did you fire the lady based on her race or her culture or her skin color, or did you fire her because of poor?
Actually, you really want to know what it was. You really want to know what it was? Probably because of sex.
I'm sorry, what?
It was probably because that she was female with them.
Okay. I'm confused of why you brought this up. Like, what are we doing?
Well, we showed you an example. She was white.
Was that a legitimate example?
We got her checked because they wanted to get rid of her.
But was that discrimination?
Now, what she was doing is as if you were wrapping presents. Okay. And then there's things that need to be picked up. Well, I could have put her over there picking stuff up and not fired her, but they wanted to get rid of her. So I said, well, get rid of it then. And the excuse is when the report was investigated, we said, well, she was done. She completed what she was hired for.
Well, was she a seasonal worker, temporary?
No, she wasn't a seasonal worker. The project wasn't done. It was still going on.
I thought you said that she was finished.
She was finished the task she came there to do.
Did she get fired for racial discrimination or not?
She got fired because they said they didn't want her no more.
Did she get fired for racial discrimination or not?
It wasn't racial. It probably, I told you, it was probably sexism.
All right. Did she get fired for gender discrimination or not?
I said it's probably why it was.
What do you mean? Probably you let her go. You let her go. You don't know exactly why.
No, I told you the foreman said get her checked. I got her checked.
All right, foreman. Does the foreman work for you or do you work for the foreman?
They take care of their job. If something don't go right, then they got the answer for it. So you don't make somebody take on somebody they don't want to.
From what I know, listen, I've never been on a job where a foreman could fire somebody. So
it does. It happens in commercial construction.
No, it doesn't.
All the time.
No, it doesn't.
How long? Well, I erect a structure still for almost 40 years.
Sir, foremen don't hire and they don't fire. They can't do that.
They do in commercial construction.
All right. Okay. A foreman might be able to send you home for the day, but he cannot cut off what he does.
They got the right to run you off. They are what we call the pusher on the project. So it was probably because of her gender, and they got rid of it. Ain't nothing new.
So why did the foreman come to you?
I write the checks. I'm his boss.
All right. All right, hold on. We have another caller on the line. Hold on. Caller with the last number 4215. Welcome to the Daily Go Getimism Show. What's on your mind? Thanks for holding.
Oh,
you gotta.
Okay.
Hold on. You gotta. I need you to turn down your background.
Okay.
Taki, you took too long to get your phone, get on the line. So here I am. All right. Back to answering the question, does the color matter? When it comes to economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and counter-war, the answer is yes. Now we can cover all those bases because being up under the control of white supremacy in all these aspects, color does matter. And there's just no way around it. And despite all the sidetracking that our previous caller has been doing, we're sticking to the script here as far as to answer the question and stay in on the topic. So labor and law, that's you don't see a not even 50% of non-white people in those, as far as being the heads of those without still going through white supremacy to have such things like being LLCs and other those small, notice I say small businesses. I was starting to say that.
Okay.
Of course, economics is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I think I brought up, and you know who I am as I'm about to say this, as I've been reading on this book about compensatory counter-racist codes. So basically, how to conduct as a non-white person up under the system of white supremacy, just for the sake of getting along, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then, it unless it is not hindering, let's say, I'll say myself, as a non-white person, to, let's say, go against the grain. Some risks are safe to do and some aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Am I making sense?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm thinking about three different things right now, so it's sort of hard for me to articulate. But that's, again, I just wanted to get back on the topic of things here instead of, listening to the sidetracking because, Taki killed me with the Confederate statue comment. That's still funny. But
okay. All right. Where I was trying to go with this whole topic was I'm trying to figure out if we're talking about color or culture, but if we're talking about color period. I was trying to open it up a little bit and see if we are so enthralled or indoctrinated by colors that it may make it hard for us to complete or perform everyday ordinary tasks because something that we may be working with or dealing with is not the right color. Besides people, you know what I mean? Like, will you not drive a car or not purchase a car because it's not, I don't know, blue? You understand what I mean? When we grew up, when our generation, when we grew up, colors were big. We had all kinds of color, different names for colors. Money green, sky blue. Popular colors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like exactly what was a money green, but
candy apple red.
Yeah, candy apple red. The Corvettes, things like that, cars. So but I don't think I remember being around anybody that was so OCD about colors that everything that they had of importance had to be that color. You know what I mean? But of course, I did grow up with cats who may have only dated light-skinned girls. You know what I'm saying? Or should I say high yellow or red bone, that type of thing. And then I knew some dudes or some girls who only like chocolate cats, the dark skin. So they had like a preference. But was that really about the color or was that about the color? Culture. Maybe it was a combination of the two that was well understood whether it was accepted or not within our own culture. So it was like a counterculture within a culture, or maybe just a subculture within a culture. So I kind of wanted to get into that, but somehow,
Okay. The culture within a culture. That's one of those things where, again, is being non-white, as long as it's sort of like a crabs in the barrel thing on autopilot. So as long as it's still within the spectrum of the non-white,
yeah,
it's it's sort of it's sort of safe within our culture, but then again, it's not.
right. True story.
Yeah.
So when you were growing up, did you or your brother or your sister or your cousin or something like that? You know how kids used to have like their favorite spoon, and some kids wouldn't eat if that spoon wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, if you don't give me my spoon, I'm not eating tonight. You want these peas to go away? Then it's gonna have to be the spoon. Have you ever seen that happen with a color? You know what I mean? Like, I'm wearing green today, and your mom is like, "Yo, you wore green yesterday." Yeah, but I gotta wear green today. And like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I think about colors, and I know some people that are very, very meticulous and very, very I don't want to keep saying OCD, but they I'm having some challenges with my vocabulary right now, but what I'm saying is they take their colors very, very seriously. You know, like it has to be that. It's almost like Linus's security blanket. So you'll see like most of the things
it has to be a certain order of things.
Right? Yeah. So most of the things that they'll buy that they really like, they're gonna buy in that color. So you're gonna if they like let's say they like pink, like most of the things they buy are gonna be pink. You know, chicks might even dye their hair pink. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I even got breast cancer so I can rock pink.
Like, what the fuck? You know, speaking of rock pink, I back in elementary, I was an oddball out. I got a Pink Panther costume for Halloween.
A Pink Panther costume?
And yeah, you remember how we used to have the little cartoon characters back in the day?
Word.
Yeah, and I had Pink Panther, and that was the first and last year I did that.
I could dig it.
Yeah. I thought that was cool because I thought the Pink Panther was cool myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something about, pink on a young, light-skinned black boy. It was sort of like, it was different. Yeah, it was one of those. Yeah, okay. You say you a little sweet or something? Yeah, because I was wearing pink. But
yeah.
But yeah, as far as again, that culture thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when. Remember that was when. If you did something accidentally on the feminine side, you were grilled, especially as a kid. Oh, you a little sweet. Oh, you man, yeah.
Right.
I've gotten me behind that.
Yeah, you wasn't wearing no pastel colors when we was growing up. Like it wasn't going down like that.
No.
You know what I mean? Those colors had to be solid. Brown, blue, green, red. You ain't getting away with no teal.
Man, no. Nothing really loud like you said, no.
Yeah. It's funny because I like teal. I actually like pastel colors, but you can do that now once you get your individualism together. But the culture of back in those days wasn't going to allow a whole lot of that to happen. But here we are. So when we start talking about colors, and when we start talking about colorism, and when we start talking about the effect that it can have in our community, we're not even just talking about our communities, but that is a focus of mine, and it is a concern of mine because of our history as it pertains to color, really masked as culture, and how it has had such a profound effect on us, a devastatingly profound effect on us socially. Yes. It's not something that we can just just wave off, or that we can brush away, or pretend like it doesn't exist. Even though many of us will pretend that color doesn't matter, or colorism is played out and things like that. And these are things that are right here in our face that we really can't ignore. But even the things that we say that we can't ignore, we will manage to find those of us who will ignore it as much as possible. I guess that can be a formidable skill if you're talking about using your mental capacity to be able to reduce pain or anguish, or relieve stress, or eradicate depression, things like that. But when it comes to the things that we really can't eliminate, like our interaction with each other and the effects that we're going to get from that, we have to step up into the reality of the situation. So when we deal with each other and we already have colorism in the back of our minds, you know, it can make or break us in so many different ways. Like Pianki, that was the name of the caller who called before you. He used to call into the Legacy of the Nation show all the time. He was talking about, and he talks often about how we treat each other, you know, you know, how we, during slavery, we enslaved each other, and how we do more damage to ourselves, and blah blah blah. There are a sect of people who subscribe to that notion, and there's also a sect of our people who would challenge that. I'm one of those people who challenges it, because I understand where it comes from, and I understand why it's there, and I understand why it doesn't go away. But my system of fairness would say, okay, I can understand why you would present these things this way. But the danger that I find in it is that we start to excuse other people's mistreatment of us because we have mistreated each other, totally ignoring the fact that they mistreat each other also, but they don't have widespread reports of our mistreatment against them. That's why I was talking about racism being prejudice plus power. You know, you have to have a power base. Like, you know, if we're going to talk about politicians and things like that, politicians have as much power. Well, first of all, politics is all about money. So they have power to move money around, because that's really all their job entails on whatever district or whatever ward or whatever territory, state, local, federal, whatever platform that you're on. Their main job function is to make sure that the budgets are balanced or taken care of. So they move money from one place to another. People who don't understand that think that it has a lot to do with people. So when we start talking about how politics deals with people, and we can't have that conversation without talking a little bit about racism, about discrimination, about so-called equality and things like that. If you're dealing with the power base that is able to influence the masses, you know.
Like this Adolf Hitler Nazi kill all Jews forever jerk doing this thing again.
Yeah, you know, it's a funny thing about the whole Nazi thing, you know, because the world and the United States in particular took so many pages from out of the Nazi handbook. It's ridiculous, especially in terms of propaganda. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
And when you look at like Prescott Bush, and you know, and his involvement with the Nazi Party and how he like how you gonna be fighting a war that you're supplying funds to? How you gonna supply the enemy with money and like what kind of war is this?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, we gotta keep this money going. So, yo, throw the Germans like, you know what I mean? Make sure you throw them a few million, whatever, $billion or whatever, and then we gonna keep fighting and get, you know, we gonna get this money. Everybody gonna get paid.
Mm-hmm.
But crazy thing. The thing about it is, I believe that there is some colorism even within with when it comes to Europeans. Like you have the,
of course it is.
Yeah, but it's also a culture thing, you know, because the Eastern Europeans are the tall, darker, and handsomer. I don't know about handsomer, but they're darker. You know, the Eastern Europeans are a little dark. They ain't a lot dark, but they're a little dark. And the Southern Europeans, they're a little darker. You know, the Italians and, you know, the Spaniards and the Greeks. They're a little darker. They're a little darker. You know what I'm saying? They ain't dark enough to. It ain't not dark enough for you to make no mistakes. But you know, they ain't gonna be able to rock out with Finland.
You know, Africa did sort of bleed over into Western Europe. So yeah. So but their colorism has more to do with their culture. They don't appreciate the way of life of Eastern Europeans. Well, many Western Europeans don't agree with the culture of Eastern Europeans. You know, a lot of them are Jews. A lot of them were Islamic and things like that. You know, and so that's a culture thing. So although they may be of the same skin hue, they believe in some things that the Western Europeans don't believe in. They have some practices that the Western Europeans don't believe in. You know how in Great Britain, the British are more into, you know, sort of snobby, sort of, you know, a very classist. You know, classism was always a big thing in Europe, but absolutely so when it comes to Western Europeans. And the way, you know, that so many different languages within close proximity of each other too. Right.
So, you know, but they get a little colorism too, and a clash with culture appreciation or lack thereof. So there's a lot to this, but cherry red sports car. You know, like, does it have to be that? Or like I ain't driving it if it ain't cherry red. I don't care how much it costs. I don't care how fast it goes. Or when you in class and the pencils would normally what, like yellowish, maybe a little close to orange. Maybe you wanted a brown pencil. Like, I'm not writing with that shit.
Number 2 pencil with the canary yellow. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, tell you what, we're gonna get you some different color erasers, you know. But the whole color thing, it can be very psychological. It can be very psychological. And if you are indoctrinated with the importance of color versus culture, or versus the true value of a person, it can get far in the way and cause a lot of problems. You know, the Black community has a lot of problems because we won't let go of what Massa taught us. Now I realize that we can't let go. It's really difficult, but goddamn, even those of us who know still feed into it, and we supposed to know.
Yeah, and despite consequences, just still want to hold on to it. Like, just as far like being incarcerated and coming back out, bragging about it, and want to go and talking about I'll go back and do it again. No,
Right.
no.
Right.
That's basically feeding the economy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That type of thing. I mean, if you,
that goes. I mean, as far as like the prison industrial system, then again, that's where the I can't remember the percentage, but it's more non-whites than there are whites in the prison system.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, the real problem is that there are 40 black African American blacks, I guess you could say, whatever, make up 40% of the prison population. The problem is it's so disproportionate to our population in society.
It is,
which makes it a big deal. There are more white people in terms of raw numbers, but it ain't hurting their community.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. That's the real problem. They definitely have white people in prison, and one of the biggest problems is they are not wrongfully accused or incarcerated. Them motherfuckers did it. And you know it.
Yeah.
And you know they did it because it ain't easy to get their asses convicted.
Just like this little 18-year-old boy crying on the stand. They got all plastered all over the news.
Yo, he gonna beat that shit. He's gonna beat that. He is gonna beat that. That is Trayvon. That is George Zimmerman 2021. He is gonna beat that. The prosecution fucked up. Yo, I'm looking at this shit. I'm like, yo, this is a goddamn disgrace. But it ain't nothing that we ain't used to. But that's my point. There are so many.
The problem is, and the relative of mine had brought it up too. We've just gotten so lax at letting it happen.
Mm-hmm.
As far as culture, like the culture vultures. They hate it. They hate it for about 10 years, and next thing you know, 20 years after that, what do you see?
Yep.
And guys, like our rap music, of course, that's the first reference I can think of, but we can go back as far. Well, we still got P-Funk.
Right.
P-Funk will always be ours, I guess, but as far as like like the jazz and blues and and like the way things are right now, it's like our fashion, our lingo, and they kill us. They kill me with taking our lingo and putting a spin on it, trying to make it sound acceptable. Like the term woke, I won't use it anymore because it's just being used as a mockery, if you ask me.
I think so. Well, there's enough evidence to support that. I'll tell you what, I'm not using no more. They say when you know better, you do better. Shit. Nah, you just know better, nigga. You know what I'm saying? All that doing better, that come when it comes.
Right. Yeah, you do better when you had enough.
When you know better, your argument is stronger. But you ain't got to do better. You know what I mean? There's way too much that we know better about, but we don't. Doing better is actually more of a choice. Knowing better, it can happen by default. Like you saw better. You've been taught better. You were shown better has been forced upon you, but you ain't got to do it. And if you don't believe in that better, then better doesn't really work for you, and you will choose not to do better. But you definitely know better. So I saw that motherfucker fake crying. That young boy fake crying on that stand. I'm like, What's this Johnson and Johnson no more tears shit? What the fuck you doing?
Man, right.
That shit was crazy. I'm like, yo, where's the acting coach? He fucked up. Somebody gotta, yo.
The acting coach.
Yo, take two. Cut. Where the tears? Get this motherfucker. Yo, special effects.
Yeah.
Special effects. Get this.
Yeah.
Fuck is that? What's going on?
Judge, you're doing great. You're doing great, Judge. Just tone it down just a little bit.
Yo, that kid is a straight psychopath. Cause I'm gonna tell you like this.
Yeah.
Had I done that crime, I don't give a shit how much I hated the people who I was trying to hurt or whatever or kill or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Getting caught and facing that kind of time, you're gonna get tears like a boy. I would be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Shit. I'd have been crying more than JoJo and KC. Fuck is you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Baby, I would cry for you tonight. Shit, I'd have been forever in my lady and freaking you on that motherfucking stand. What you talking about? Like, nigga, do you realize what's about to happen to you? You better. Man. That motherfucker dangerous. He dangerous. He's serious. He is serious, but he gonna beat that case. That's ugly. He gonna beat that shit. But unfortunately,
he's gonna go into hiding too, like Zimmerman.
You know what? He ain't gonna have to. You know why?
You know what? Yeah.
He ain't gonna have to, because just like Zimmerman is walking these streets, there ain't a thing. Listen, man. You know what? I hate to say this shit, but you know, the older I get, the more experience I get, I'm starting to feel like there is nothing. There is no single event. There is nothing that can be done to convince all of us to rebel on the same platform, same stage, for the same reasons in unison. There's nothing. There's always going to be enough motherfuckers on the other side that says, nah, man, fuck that. That wasn't right. Or he shouldn't have done it. Or that's what he get. Or nah, I ain't doing. We stuck. We are stuck like Chuck, man. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
It doesn't.
An older cousin of mine in his 70s, he's telling me that slavery is about like a generation back in effect if we don't do some shit. I mean, like I said, there's not one particular platform that can be addressed to annihilate or eradicate the whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
Again, back to these areas of living that I pointed out earlier. I mean, they're all covered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're always going to be. There's always going to be a significant number of us who say, no, I'm not fighting for that. I'm not fighting for them. And they was wrong and blah, 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 or two wrongs don't make a right. Mm-hmm. And the Lord wouldn't want it that way. And, if we have a eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, then we're going to have a bunch of blind toothless people. Shut the fuck up. You're all pussies. Right. You're pussies. And well, that's where we are. So riding for your people, it has almost no effect. Like you ain't gonna win. It's bad.
Just keep adding dresses to the ones that so-called made it.
Yeah. But that's where we are, unfortunately. And it weighs on my conscience. But the more you get used to it, I'm not saying that I accept it, but at least I know what I'm up against. And I would always rather go with the devil that I know. Because at least with the devil I know, I can also counter him with the angels that I know or the God that I know. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and that's where it is right now. And that's what I've been sort of like gathering, the information I've been sort of like being enlightened to, as far as just what can I do to counter, what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be earth shattering, and it may not be noteworthy. It's basically being safe in my little corner of the earth, if you will.
Yeah.
But however though, that can get claustrophobic too.
Yeah. True indeed. Yeah, man. Earlier in the show, when the first caller called in, when I saw his number, I was like, damn, that shit look familiar. But it's been a while. And I had actually told myself that I wasn't answering that motherfucker number no more. You know what I mean? And he got me. I was like, as soon as I heard that voice, it was like, oh. Because I knew he was going. I knew he was going to do what he did. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just. But like I said, what he represents is what we're up against with our people. He is actually very honest and truthful in his approach.
Yeah,
it's just that I don't like it. And I don't consider this to be the place for it. However, whether we set this,
it is out there,
right? Whether I set the stage for it or set the table for the night, they gonna eat and they gonna perform. You know what I'm saying? And just when you think that you got it all together, you got all your people together, and we're gonna get this thing together, and we're gonna make it right, and we're gonna finally set the wheels in motion for us to progress and to advance. You got these motherfuckers over here talking about something. Well, what about black on black crime?
Yeah, what about it? What are you doing about it? What about it?
It's like them niggas. Like, yo, the Egyptians had slaves too. I don't give a fuck. I ain't never been to Egypt. But I've been to North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, Florida. Yeah, I mean, fuck Egypt.
Right.
Right. I ain't got nothing to do with that shit.
Right.
But that's what we got. That's what we got. Well, black people had slaves. Well, black people are slaves. How about that?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If black people own slaves, I know I could buy them back. So
how about that?
If black people own slaves, then that's technically that's black business, right?
Man.
So because that's black business, stereotypically, he got to give me the hookup, don't he? Or I'm not going to support it.
Wow. Yeah, give me that discount.
Yo, your slave's too high. I ain't buying this shit. Yo, Master Tom, I'm coming over your shit. You know what I'm saying? Fuck over here. Fuck out of here. Kuta over here. Toby over here with these high ass slave prices and shit. You know what I mean? This shit ain't even worth it. This garbage ass. Let's go to Master Tom Home Depot. Home Depot, Master Tom. Shit.
Wow.
I can't, man. I can't.
Again, that ties back into back to economic thing.
Word.
There's we not having the capital to come out the door giving out discounts,
right? Real trap, man. This shit it's off the chain.
Have to just start come out of pocket with everything, damn near sacrificing everything, taking out 2 or 3 loans and 5 mortgages just to get a business started, and then it go bust, and then you really ask out.
Yeah.
Because again, depending on that system headed by by them.
Right. Right. They have the power and the influence. And you can't beat that.
Exactly.
No amount of money can beat power and influence. They can't, because because your power and influence is going to get to the person that has more money than everybody else. You know what I mean? And you're also going to be able to have that type of influence that pools all of the resources. So one person that has money is not going to be able to generate as much revenue as these millions of people putting all of their money together. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not that hard to tell. So when you talk about black people having money, that's why I asked the dude. I said, well, you know, like, who are we talking about? You know, like, what you talking about? You said, why did they vote for? I'm like, who's the him? Last I looked, I don't know no politicians that campaigned by themselves. They ain't win if they did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, we on some other shit. But yeah, you know, I listen to a good amount of political news, liberal and conservative, and you just see this shit. And it's like the lines of racism have been so blurred. One thing about racism is discrimination is a lot easier to prove than racism. You know, like,
how about that?
Because discrimination is a straight action. You know what I'm saying? Racism is an idea. Yeah. Racism is like, nope, I ain't racist. My uncle is light skinned. You know what I mean? And motherfuckers will go for that shit. I heard people say it. How can I be racist when my daughter's next door neighbor's baby cousin is black and we play chess? Fuck you talking about?
Some of my best friends are black.
That's right. You ain't got a racist bone in my body.
Yeah.
You may not have a racist bone in your body, but that motherfucking skin, that skin racist.
I tell you, I was one of those too. And I got to say, I have to say, man, when I was coming up, I was sort of a popular guy. Some of my friends were coming up. Some were. Not to say that they've ever been by my house, maybe one or two, but it wasn't like a really chill out mode because, different parts of town type of thing. But yeah, well, that's what happened when you get, because of trying to desegregate in the 80s by busing from one side of town to the other. Yeah, that's what,
right.
I'm a product of that.
Oh yeah, that'll make race relations better. Force the schools to put black kids with your white kids. Yeah, good idea there. Yeah.
Nah, it didn't happen in reverse. It never happened in reverse.
Not at all.
Man.
And it's so funny how how white people try to paint black people as being so violent, and I'm thinking like, man, you talking about a punch in the face, maybe a kick to the ribs, maybe a black eye or knocked out tooth. Y'all be fucking beheading motherfuckers and stringing motherfuckers up trees and removing body parts and terrorizing motherfuckers. Like, yo, any of y'all step in, it's gonna happen to all y'all.
Man, but meanwhile, we'd be sporting. Like I said, we'd be sporting them black eyes and bruises from the fight after school the day before.
Yeah. So,
however, though,
yeah.
Don't let it be some kind of a football game where going from one side of town to the other, and it's a mostly white school versus a mostly black school. Oh boy.
Messy.
It was. It didn't really turn out as bad as I thought it would, but yeah. But you can definitely, but as far as you can definitely tell the difference in school spirit.
Man, listen, I remember when my nephew was playing Little League in the late 90s, and he was playing, you know, his team would play all of those teams out in the suburbs. You know, all those teams out in the suburbs was white. So we went to the semifinals. One game before the championship, we beat them, and you know, we was all happy, like, yeah, we got them, we did that shit. And you know, the white parents was pissed. You know, first of all, they didn't like losing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they was like, yeah, real. they was like, yeah, very classy, Oak Lane, very, very classy. Like, motherfuckers, we just won. we not, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is y'all talking about? We had to come out here. But they wanted to yell. They really wanted to get, you know, they wanted some racially motivated shit so bad, but they just knew, like, we can't do this and get away with it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because we really are pissed. Get on that bus. Right. The thing is, no. They didn't have to get on no bus. We had to go out there. We were the ones in danger. Yeah. You know, so the right. That's what I mean. Yeah, okay. So the crazy part about it was you know, I know that we were everything except for children of God, you know, in their homes that night. But can you imagine the lesson that they taught their children about us? Because, you know, one sideline all black, including the bleachers behind them, and the other side all white. And I mean, total separation. If you want to talk about, separation, it was crazy, and it was almost like us winning. It was the worst thing that could. You know what that shit was? That shit was Joe Louis beating Max Schmeling. That's what that shit was. That was Joe Louis beating Max Schmeling. That's what that was that night. And it was crazy because, you know, I was leading the charge. Like, yeah, fuck them. Yeah. You know, shit. You know how Little League football is. We was into that shit. Like, what is you talking about? So yeah, it was crazy. Well, listen, man, we gotta get on up out of here. But I really appreciate you calling in. And I mean, really appreciate you calling in because I was sitting up here gritting my teeth too and looking at okay. The wheels was coming off. It's been a minute. The wheels was coming off, man. I was losing ground. It wasn't good. I was like, like, just answer the question. Well, what are you talking about? The foreman? Like, he talking about the foreman can fight. What are you talking about? Yeah. See, and you know, right there, I was like, okay, back on it here. Like, what are you talking about? Foreman fire nobody. He can write him up. A suggestion, but how can you fire who you didn't hire? What is get out of here? And then besides that, he still didn't answer the question of it was what color was this person? Was she black or white? Couldn't even answer that. I can't. Shit was, but that's his MO. That's definitely his MO. So he did not disappoint. He really delivered on a regular shit. I know it's personal. Oh yeah, I know it's personal. Yeah, but that's all right. You cracked the door and peeked out, but he stuck his foot in, and you was like, "Oh, I gotta get this damn peephole fixed." You know? Motherfucker just walking up on my shit. You know, make sure that light works outside. You know, shit crazy. That shit crazy. The porch light is working. Real shit, man. All right. Okay, well, cool. I'm gonna let you go so you can close it out. No You're doubt. Welcome, Taki. I want to thank all y'all. All y'all.
Yeah.
Shit is rad.
Cheryl, Ansel,
No doubt.
Veronica, Carol.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
All right, much love, man. I'm out, man. I'll talk with y'all later.
All right, man. Peace.
Oh, are you? What time you on tomorrow?
Be on 11 tomorrow. Tomorrow and Sunday. We are in effect.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Cool. Well, all right. Well, we'll check back in then.
All right. Peace.
All right. Peace.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there. Appreciate it. Mucho. That's like a lotto. All right, y'all. We have some birthday shout outs to audience. November 12th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box, Cassandra Harris. Happy birthday to you, Cassandra. And also T. Carr. Happy birthday to you. And Nicole Edwards, turning 49 years old today. And Kia Elam, turning 46 years old today. And Sonia Brisson, by the way, these are both go-getters. Happy birthday to you. And my man, Nathaniel Wilkerson, the third, turning 46 years old today. Mi cousin, mi prima. Happy birthday to you. And last but not least, Jamaica Ote. I want to say happy birthday to all of you and anyone else out there who shares this birthday on this glorious November 12th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up, but don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on it, do the damn, the rock out, rock on it, do the damn, rock out, rock on it, do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind, and anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, man, listen, colors matter. They matter to a lot of people, but do colors matter in people? I think that a lot of times they do. There are many exceptions to the rule, which can confuse exactly what the rule is. But we do know that sometimes you want something in a particular color. And some of us are so serious and so indoctrinated into the meaning of what that color is, that we will insist that it be that color, or we're not working with it. And you can have whatever you want to if you're spending the money, or if you have the influence and power in order to command that. But I think that the time comes when we have to ask ourselves what the importance of the things that we do is to us. Like, where do we stand with what we do? Are we satisfied with the results of what colors do to us? And, although I don't think I did a very good job of it tonight, but I really wanted to go into what colors, like the psychological effects of what colors mean to us. Some people really value what colors bring to 90 seconds, to an object, to an idea, to a workspace, to a living space. People who are born under the sign of Virgo are very color concerned people. Colors, like colors. When it's the right color, it brings shit out. They believe that. They're not the only ones who believe that, but they are definitely that welcomes that type of feeling, those types of thoughts. You may request that your house be a certain color. But you may live in a community where there are deed restrictions that keep you from painting your house a certain color. And because of those deed restrictions on that color, or on the use of the colors, or your autonomy in terms of being able to use whatever colors that you want to, you may elect to decline to live in that community or in that neighborhood. For some people, it is that deep. Actually, I can kind of understand that. Like, you gonna tell me I gotta pay for this house 30 years or whatever, and I can't have it the way I want to? Nah, we not doing that. We not doing that. No. The Urban Therapy with Sun show will be in effect tomorrow. I'm on it. Hey, yo. So make sure y'all come through. Let me see. Do we have a topic tomorrow? Because we might do. We might do have a topic tomorrow. So let me see here. Because we might don't too. You know, we always have to take into consideration that I didn't think of nothing yet. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is good. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yelling versus the loud voice. Yeah. Yelling versus the loud voice. You know how some people just talk loud. They just loud. But then some people who aren't who have even tone voices, when they raise their voice, it can send a certain feeling to people. And we're going to talk about how when people raise their voice to you or yell at you or talk loud to you, how it affects you, like how you respond to that, how you deal with that. Yeah, tomorrow. Yelling versus the loud voice. Yelling versus the loud voice. So make sure y'all come check that out on the Urban Therapy with Sun show tomorrow. Goodness gracious. Yo, this piece, ever since this update, this joint lagging is lagging. I ain't gonna lag. Oh. Come on. Try to get this. Move it. All right. This sucks. Sucks. All right. No. Fuck it, man. All right. Let's go. All right. So we about to get on up out of here, y'all. I want to thank y'all for coming through. I appreciate it. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, it is the Daily Go Getimism Show. And I appreciate me some of you. Yes, I do. So let's get ready to get on up out of here. My Instagram is /MajamaWord. Let's go, y'all. I holler on back. See y'all tomorrow, y'all. Yes, y'all. A fresh, y'all. A beat, y'all. We take it back to the old rhyme. Still they be into the time, yo, commit no crime. Make sure that you keep it on that level, yo. We gonna do like this. We don't have to rebel. Okay. All right. So, yeah. Do that for Instagram. And for my YouTubers, you know how we doobers. See y'all tomorrow. Peace out, my boobers. Yeah. Peace to Veronica Free. Yeah. And Ansel J. Shirley, world's most precious, greatest pearl. Word up, girl. I saw Bobby C say somewhere near. Hey, thanks for coming through. Yo, no way. We gonna stop this train when it takes off. Make sure we got the hard and soft loft to some that want chilling, spilling over into the next realm. But I got the helm, and we gonna lead this fight. And I'm out tonight, but it's gonna make it all right tomorrow morning, not the evening. Yo, we gonna do some shit you ain't gonna believe it. All right, man. I holla. Peace.